After a disappointing 137-120 loss to the Indiana Pacers, the Dallas Mavericks are on their third game losing streak, and I don't know where to begin on what needs to happen, but this team has a serious problem, and we're going to break it down in this video. We're going to talk about the highs, the lows, what worked, what didn't work, and what this team needs to do to close out the season, as these losses just seem to be piling up on the Dallas Mavericks. How's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavs Digest, bringing you the latest news and everything Mavericks related. And before we get started, you know the drill. 85.1% of you guys are not subscribed. That number is slowly going down day by day, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys hitting that subscribe button. We are currently on the road to 5,000 subs. At the time of this recording, we're about 4,800 subs. We're getting really close. And when we get to 5K subs, I'm going to start going live on every Mavericks game. So if you can't watch it at home, you could watch me, watch the game for you, my live commentary, play-by-play, all that good stuff. So make sure you subscribe. But let's get into this video where we just had a humiliating loss to the Indiana Pacers. It was a 137-120 loss. The Pacers were actually on a pretty bad run themselves leading up to this game. Had very bad games back-to-back. And just for whatever reason, just again, the teams that we seem to be playing have their best games against us, and the Dallas Mavericks just couldn't get it together. We'll go right into the box score and go over this. PJ Washington had 20 points, 1 block, 1 steal, 3 assists with 7 rebounds. He was 4 of 8 from the three-point line. He had a great first half, had about 18 points in the first half, but only 2 points in the second half, and it was just bad. Derrick Lively, only 16 minutes, 0 points, 1 turnover, and 1 rebound. Didn't really get a chance to do anything else. He had 3 quick fouls in the first half, and we just didn't see him that much at all, if any, in the second half. Kyrie Irving finished the game with 23 points. He had 3 assists and 7 rebounds, shot 3 of 9 from 3. Luka Doncic had a 39-point triple-double, 5 turnovers, 11 assists, and 10 rebounds, shot 4 of 13 from 3. Good night. And Josh Green, in 26 minutes as a starter, had 6 points. He had 2 turnovers, 1 block, 1 assist, and 2 rebounds. And as you can see from our bench, not a whole lot from Maxey or Tim, who both played less minutes. Maxey only 15 minutes. Tim Hardaway with 13. He had about 6 points. Derrick Jones played 12 minutes, only had 2 points. Dwight Powell, AJ Lawson, and Jaden Hardy all played in garbage time. But Dante Exum, 16 minutes with 4 points. But Daniel Gafford had, 21 minutes of play action, had 16 points, 3 blocks, 2 assists, and 10 rebounds. Definitely a much better game from Daniel Gafford as opposed to the most recent stretch of games. And what happened in this game, I don't know. We came out with a hot start. We looked good up until the first timeout called by Indiana, and after that, they just went on a run. We couldn't catch our flow. Constantly playing behind the Indiana Pacers. It was like a 10-point deficit. Closed down to 5, then it was back to 10, back to 5. It seemed like every time we got within 5 points of the Indiana Pacers, they just went on a run. They went on a run. Our defense was just not good enough, but also the refs. And I'm not sure if you guys saw what I saw, but it was a lot of just no calls from the referees. Just a whole lot of contact, especially from Andrew Nesmith, who was playing really tight defense on Luka Doncic, but the refs were calling nothing. It was a highly physical game from the Indiana Pacers, and we just weren't getting any calls whatsoever. But as y'all have noticed, if you've been watching the last few videos on this channel, we've been just putting Jason Kidd in the doghouse. I even went as far as to call him Jason Mid. But I'll give credit where credit is due, and I don't think that this game was as much on his fault as it is on just the team overall. You could just see the team was not invested. Luka was not playing great defense. I mean, the whole team wasn't playing good defense. I don't think you could really attribute this loss to just one player or one person. The whole team as a whole just wasn't playing good defense whatsoever. We went into halftime. It was like 79-73 or something like that. Yeah, I want to say we had like 70 points at a halftime. And it was like, okay, cool. Our offense is there. We're able to keep up, but our defense is horrible. The Indiana Pacers were getting open shots left and right. Players were just hitting threes, letting it rain like they were the 2016 Warriors. And we came into the second half, into the third quarter. We tried to get something going. We slowly started to fall behind. Kyrie Irving definitely got things hot to go quickly in the fourth quarter. Because, fourth quarter Kai, it's a real thing. But it just wasn't enough. Daniel Gafford also kind of got it going in the second half. And in reality, I think, and I just want to talk about Daniel Gafford for a minute. From what I've seen so far with him being on the Dallas Mavericks, he's a great center for us. And he is most impactful in the pick and roll, and I have not seen that in the last few games. But in this game, it seemed like every time Luka called a pick and roll with Daniel, an alley-oop on the other end. He was just banging it home. He was he was very active. And so just from what I've seen, in the small sample size that I've seen of Daniel Gafford on this Mavericks team, we need to have our guards utilize him. Whether that be Luka, Kai, Dante, Exum, call for a high screen, roll off the pick, find Daniel Gafford with the lob, and he's going to finish it every time. And like I said, I'll pull up the box score again. The Dallas Mavericks, we actually went pretty deep. I mean, aside from Dwight Powell, A.J. Lawson, and even Jane Hardy, who obviously were in for garbage time, Maxey, Tim, Derrick Jones, Daniel Gafford, and Dante Exum, those 5 guys were actually playing quality minutes off the bench, which I appreciate. Seeing 20-plus minutes from just Maxey and Tim, not good. So from the box score and also just from watching the game, we did have a pretty good rotations. The rotations and the substitutions, the timeouts, it was good. I'll give Coach Kidd credit where credit is due. Those were good. It just wasn't our game. The defense, like I said, the players did not look engaged on defense. The offense, it was there. It just the defense wasn't there, and it just all fell apart. We know the Pacers play very fast. But it really wasn't even their starters that was killing us. Their bench murdered us. It was a massacre. It was a slaughter fest. And like to start the fourth, I think the Pacers put in their bench unit. And we still couldn't bring it within 15. We were trailing by 15 for the majority of the fourth quarter. And I'll throw the Pacers box score up so we can take a deeper look. But Pascal had 13 points, 1 block, 6 assists, and 14 rebounds. Andrew Neesmith had 6 points, 2 assists, and 1 rebound. Miles Turner had 20 points, 2 assists, and 4 rebounds. Andrew Nembhard had 10 points, 1 turnover, 1 steal, 5 assists, 3 rebounds. And Tyrese Halliburton had 19 points, 2 turnovers, 1 block, 11 assists, and 6 rebounds. And their bench, Obi Toppin had 14 points off the bench. Jalen Smith had 11 points off the bench. TJ McConnell, who shot 2 of 2 from 3, 13 points and 7 assists off the bench. You had Benedict Mathurin with 19 points and Ben Shepherd with 12 points. And I'm sorry, I kept saying Andrew Neesmith. It's my fault. These guys were just all over the place, and it was just killing me. It's hard for me to really focus on the other team when I was too busy watching the Mavericks just lose it, just wet the bed and just give up. The team fell apart. And like I said, the second unit, it was the bench. The Pacers bench was beating us. Our bench couldn't even play that well. Our starters couldn't even play that well against their bench. It was just embarrassing. And if you were watching the game, you saw at one point Luka was on the bench just upset. He took a water bottle and threw it. He was visibly upset. He is getting tired and fed up with this team, with this coaching staff, with just not winning games. And when you got star players that are feeling this way, the only thing to really fix people's emotions and just bring back the morale is just to get a dub. And hopefully we can get one against the Miami Heat. I'm hoping we can just do something. But let's go into today's the segment, the good, the bad, the ugly. And it's hard to find good in a loss like this. But I'll give it to P.J. Washington and Daniel Gafford. P.J. Washington had a very good first half. He was hitting his threes. He was getting his shots off. His defense was incredible. I think he was probably the best defender on the floor for us by far. He had a really good first half, but I'm also giving it to Daniel Gafford, who had a very, very great second half for us down the stretch. I was glad Coach Kidd kept him in because it was working. If he's hot, let him stay hot. If it's working, don't change it, right? The bad would have to be the turnovers. I'll throw the stats up once again. As a team, it was only 9 turnovers. Let's flip over to the Pacers. They had about 8. But those turnovers from the Dallas Mavericks felt like it was double. It felt like it was always at the worst time when we're trying to get a stop. We're trying to get a run. We're trying to get this lead going, try to build a lead, try to break the deficit. It just, every time a turnover happened, it felt like it just killed the momentum and we couldn't get anything going. But the ugly was our defense. It was just ugly. And that's the best adjective to use to describe our defense. It was just absolutely ugly. The Pacers just couldn't miss a shot. They were wide open, and our defense just wasn't there. It just wasn't there. And I've said it before, that starts with coaching and it ends with coaching. And we all know that Jason Kidd is the problem. I mean, one of many problems that we have. But just the coaching, it just doesn't make sense where we have all this talent. We have good defenders, and just nights like this, we just fall apart. And I'll give the Pacers credit where credit's due. They are a good team. They played at a very fast pace. I thought we were keeping up, but just on the defensive end, it just wasn't there. The players just don't look like they want to be out there, honestly. And I don't know if Jason Kidd even has a locker room anymore. I don't know if these guys even trust playing for Jason Kidd on a nightly basis. Maybe Jared Dudley needs to step up. I know a lot of people in the comment section have been calling for Jared Dudley. I know Mike Budenholzer. That's a name that a lot of people are like, hey, call up Bud. Get him in here. Save this team. Because I don't know how much more I don't know how many more losses we can take before we're just out of the playoffs. This is starting to look just like last year, where we started 2 of 7 outside, to come out of the All-Star break. I think we're about 2 and 7 now after the All-Star break. It's just not working. Something's not working. We have a problem. It could be coaching. It could be the personnel. I know Maxey and Tim Hardaway, 2 guys who a lot of people want gone. They play minutes and it doesn't equate to anything. A lot of things need to happen. And if we're going to go into the postseason with this team playing like this, first round exit or a 1-game exit if we're in the play-in, which we most likely will. But it's tough. It's tough out here, and we have a few quotes we want to go over. Just looking over this real quick. Luka with 39, 10, 11 on 50% shooting while holding their all-star under 20 points. It was never even close in second half. This legit crazy at this point. Kid has lost their locker room, and I believe it. I believe it. We're having Luka put up crazy numbers. Kyrie's helping out as well, and just nothing's working. The defensive schemes aren't working. We're not paying attention on switches. We're not going from a man to a zone or zone to a man. We're not knowing when to apply pressure on defense, knowing when to sag off. The defensive IQ of this team is in question right now, and this right here. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to find it. But Ben Shepherd this season versus the Mavs, he shot 82% from 3 all season when he played us. Against every other team, 29%. Are you serious? Ben Shepherd, who are you? Steph Curry? That's what it's looking like. It's if anything, do I need more to just show you just how bad this team is? If we look at the coaching record of Jason Kidd, pull Jason Kidd's coaching into question. Look at this. 53%, 540, 51, 51, 63 when we made the Western Conference Finals, but that was 2 years ago. No one's worried about that. We're worried about now. Jason Kidd as a head coach hasn't won anything anywhere. 2 years ago was his best season as a coach, and it's only been downhill since. Yes, as of now, we have a better winning record than we did last year. Just the season's not over yet. So who knows what's going to happen in these next few games. Will Jason Kidd's legacy be tarnished depending on how well this or how bad this season ends? Who knows? But the Dallas Mavericks need to figure it out. They need to figure it out fast because games are going by. The season's almost over. It's crunch time. And this right here shows you everything that you need to know about the Dallas Mavericks. In the last 6 games, we are 30 in defensive rating, 26 in net rating, 30% in 3-point percentage allowed, 29% in points allowed, ranked 29 in field goal percentage allowed, and ranked 26 in free throws made allowed. What needs to change? Need I say more? I showed you Jason Kidd's coaching record. I showed you our defense. There's a correlation somewhere. And it doesn't take a genius to point it out. Stevie Wonder could tell you exactly who is at fault here. But we got to just focus on the games ahead of us, put this in the past, focus on the future, get locked in. We still got about 20-some-odd games, 19 games left in the season. We got to get a winning streak going, guys. We got to figure it out before we slowly fall out of the play-in picture. Definitely don't want to be the 9th or 10th seed. I'll be happy if we're 7th or 8th, to be completely honest with you. But that's all I got for you guys today. Make sure you subscribe. We're on our way to 5K subs. Once we get 5K, we'll be going live for every Mavericks game. And check out the Discord. Link is in the description below. We always get active there. But until next time, y'all take care. Peace.